Hi everyone, and welcome back to Kids Corner. I'm so happy you've chosen to spend this time with me today. Today, we are going to hear the story of the prophet Isaiah. So let's all take a deep breath and center ourselves to hear this story. This is the story about the prophet Isaiah. But do we remember what a prophet is? Prophets are people who come so close to God, and God comes so close to them that they know what God wants. Sometimes God has a message of hope for people going through difficult times. Sometimes God has a message to remind people that they need to live in the best ways. Sometimes God's message is about making all things new again. The words of the prophet Isaiah have been given to us in a scroll. And here is a tiny scroll to help us to remember the scroll of the prophet Isaiah. Some people believe, and this seems to be the case, that there were 3 scrolls and they were sewn together, just like our backdrop is sewn together. This is why we have 3 different parts of the story of Isaiah. And today, we are going to hear the first part of the story. First, Isaiah was called to be a prophet to the people of God during the time when the Assyrians attacked the city. He had a vision. He suddenly found himself in the temple of God, but it was not like the temple in Jerusalem. It was even grander. A vision of heaven itself. Isaiah saw God sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and God's presence filled the temple. All around Isaiah, there were angels singing, "Holy, holy, holy, holy God of hosts. The whole earth is full of God's glory." But Isaiah was afraid. He said, "What if I'm not good enough to be this close to God?" Just then, an angel flew over Isaiah and, taking a piece of burning coal from the altar, touched Isaiah's lips, saying, "This has touched your lips and made you clean. Everything is forgiven." Then Isaiah heard God saying, "Whom shall I send to speak to the people? Who will go for us?" And Isaiah said, "Here I am. Send me." Isaiah told the people that Jerusalem would be destroyed. He told how a lovely vineyard had been planted by God on a beautiful hill, surrounded with a strong hedge. God thought the vineyard would grow well with sweet grapes, but instead it grew wild, bitter grapes. So God took away the hedge surrounding the vineyard, and the vines were trampled down. They became overgrown with thorns. The rain did not fall on the ruined vineyard. The vines withered, and they did not survive. But another time, Isaiah told the people about a light. Isaiah said, "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light." But what was this light? It was the brightness and warmth of a good harvest, of having a heavy load taken off your shoulders, of a child being born to show the way, a child called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Prince of Peace. Now, I wonder, who do you think this child was? I wonder what part of this part of the story of Isaiah you liked the best. I wonder What part is the most important? I wonder which part of this story you are in. I wonder which part is about all of us. I wonder if we could leave out any part of this story and still have all that we need. Friends, thank you for joining me for Kids Corner today. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to hear the story of the rest of Isaiah, the other 2 parts. In the meantime, if there's any part of this story that inspired you, and you do art or draw or color, please have an adult in your home send it to me so that I can share it with our whole community on Facebook. Thank you for joining me. Remember to click the link in the description to take you to the song for today. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye for now.